Hello everyone, my name is Wendy with Winds of Change Ministries, and today is Friday the 13th. I am making my third and final uh, video of the day. I'm trying to whip out as many messages as possible before my 40 days of manna are over on the summer solstice. So let's go back into the story of Jacob, and he's on his way back home. He's already got his two wives, and he's got his kids, and he's heading back. And this incident is actually before Rachel passes away. I know I'm kind of jumping around, but that's because I wanted to get that message about her out and make it clear before I jumble things. Okay. So here I am. They're on their way back, and he knows he has to face his brother. And he gets back to the area in Beit Al. He has a dream again. He sees angels again. Well, actually, I guess this wasn't in Beit Al. It's the place that they called the encampment, okay, in Hebrew. Anyway, and so this is where he's at, and he sees the angels, and he asked for God to, for the angels to find out about the brother. And anyway, messengers were going back and forth. Now remember, his brother means, he has the name of Adum, all right, red, and that's kind of like his second name. His nation is actually named after that, not after Esau. Red, okay. And I have mentioned that we have on our system here, our energy system, we have the red chakra, right? So in a way you can look at it that way. So when Jacob saw the angels going, moving around at this encampment, in a way you can look at it as the electrical signals going up and down the spine. I'm just saying, okay? Think outside of the box here. And that's going to come into play here in a moment, okay? So he's got feelings about his brother. They were feelings of guilt and shame, because let's face it, he did. Now his mom didn't feel sorry about what she did to trick her dad and steal that blessing, but he actually did feel a little bit bad of it, and he has just endured 21 years of karma from it. Where his father-in-law kind of was a trickster with him, and so he had to learn his lesson the hard way. And these life lessons aren't always that easy. So anyway, he gets to a place where he is on the verge of meeting his brother. He knows that his brother is angry with him and was on his way to meet him. All right. And anyway, when he's doing this, he sent droves as presents. They were droves. They were waves. One and then another and then another. Waves to try to soften the heart of his brother. Okay, because if he sent it all at once, then it'd been like, oh wow, and then that's it. But because he sent it in waves, these droves of presents, of livestock and different things, it gave the brother some time to digest this. It's like, oh, well, huh. So then when the next one came, it softened his heart a little bit more. And then the next one came, and then it softened his heart a little bit more. Okay. That way it was more effective on that heart. Okay. So anyway, when that night before he met his brother Jacob, had an experience. He had already sent his family away from him. All right, and he was alone that night, and he wrestled with a man. This person is identified as a man, and we know that God can take mortal form. I already explained that in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, Sedum and Amorah. Okay, so I've already explained that God can take mortal form. And so, in a way, this individual represents God, or they never go into specifics. He never gives his name. Okay, but regardless, we have that idea of it. And he wrestles with them until daybreak. All right, and then he is given a new name. All right, so he was wrestling with him. Now, I have talked about when we are on our life's journey, we are having to travel in the darkness, right? And on our ascension, okay? And so anyway, so here we have the idea of dark. We have the journey, which is not easy, right? The trials and tribulations of life are not easy, and so when daybreak came, this man told him, "Let me loose, because daybreak comes," and he didn't want to be there. Why? Because this was related to something. There was a reason for that. Okay, and because in a way we can look at it being connected to what happens to us before our enlightenment. We're in the dark. Okay, and then comes the light, and then comes something else. So, Jacob says to him, "I'm not going to let you go." And well, he said, "What's your name?" He wasn't going to give him his name. "Well, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me." And so he was given a new name. He had entered a new stage. He had broken through. Okay. All that bad karma of being deceitful. And after this, he was, so now the supplanter who supplanted his brother. Okay? Now, to supplant, that kind of means like uproot someone else and put in your own seed. All right? And that is exactly what happened, because Jacob, he earned, his older brother squandered the birthright, and he earned it, and then he stole the blessing. So he did supplant him. He supplanted his descendants from what was originally theirs. Okay? And now he has already paid off his karmic debt. All right? And so it was time, and he had learned his lessons. And now it was time for him to ascend and take on a new identity. He was no longer the supplanter. God named him Israel, Yeshariel. He is a prince of all. He is a prince of God. All right? He had broken through the darkness, and now he had ascended into the higher realms. Okay? Anyway, when Jacob, Yeshariel, Israel, when he was done with this incident, and the man was no longer there, he named that place Penuel, the face of God. What did I say? Okay, so we got the root chakra, which represents Ashau, Esau, and then the energies go up and down, right? That spine, and as we're wrestling, and then we come into enlightenment, and we see the face of God, all right, and become royalty with God. So there's a very deep message in that story, all right. And then after this, he goes and he meets his brother, and his brother, his heart had softened towards him, and it made him happy. And he says, seeing you is like seeing the face of God. Because, see, he had conquered his guilt and shame. If we look at the Hawkins scale of consciousness, right? Forget the chakra systems. Let's just look at the Hawkins scale of consciousness. Hell right? Which is in our lower region, the bowels of hell, our gut and stuff, right? And the intestine and the colon and everything. Okay, the bowels of hell. Anyway, if we look at the Hawkins scale of consciousness, hell is associated with guilt and shame. And Jacob, he never really got over the fact that he had stolen that. That's why he, not only did he forfeit a lot of the things that his brother took from his family. He didn't even want that. All he wanted was the birthright, the promise of God's covenant. That's really all he wanted. Not only did he forfeit that, but he also gave Esau, Ashau, all these droves of sheep and asses and camels and all kinds of stuff. Okay, so I mean, Esau ended up being very wealthy. The only thing that Jacob got from this deal was the promise. Okay, and he was willing to risk everything for that promise, which wasn't even going to happen for a long time, because God told Abraham that his children would have to go into servitude for 400 years. Okay, before that promise came to fulfillment. So you want to talk about planting the seed, knowing that you will never see anything of it, in hopes that one day your children would. Now that's faith. Okay, he let go of all that wealth for that. And it does take faith to be a servant of God, and it takes a long time and a lot of hardship before God actually rewards you. Okay, and so anyway, Esau, after Isaac died and stuff, I'm going to fast forward a little bit just to make this point. After Isaac died, he did end up going to his area, which is again down there by Midian and Moab and all the other kinfolk. They're all in like the Saudi Arabia area. Okay, is where they went, that area, northern Saudi Arabia, and that was where they all kind of, the descendants of Abraham who were not covenant bearers, they all went to that area. Anyway, so then and he became a mighty nation. He too had 13 sons and a daughter. Okay, so Ishmael, he had 12 sons and a daughter. Ashau, Esau, he had 12 sons and a daughter. And now Jacob, the one who carries the promise, he has become a nation of his own. He has 12 sons and a daughter. Actually, not at this point where he met his brother, but it's there. Because Rachel still hadn't passed away yet. She was actually a part of this meeting. Now, after this, Jacob did not go directly to his father. He took a little detour and went into Shechem. All right, and while he was there, his daughter was kidnapped as a young girl, and she was fair because, well, she was fair-skinned. She was white. She was different. And the prince of that city wanted her. And he took her and had his way with her without permission. All right? Rape. So they were pretty angry about this. But Shechem and his father came and wanted to make peace and say, look, my son wants your daughter. Let's exchange. Let's join the forces here. Let's join forces, and let's exchange. Our descendants together, and have marriages. And The strongest voices, the strongest voices in this whole incident is Levi and Shemaun, okay? Lehi and Shemaun. And they were the strongest voices, but they were actually very argumentative with them. They were angry about the whole situation, but they wanted to make peace. Well, seem peaceful, okay? And they said, well, if you want to become one with us, you got to be like us. And we're circumcised. And everyone in our house is circumcised. And so if you want to, do an exchange, you have to be circumcised. All right? And they agreed to this. And many of those, and so almost the entire town, they're in the book of Jashar, you'll discover that there was a group of them that refused and they left. They're like, I'm not interested in this. I'm not going to have that happen to me just so that this guy can marry some girl that he raped. I mean, But anyway, so they didn't want to participate with that. And they left. And that saved their skins, literally. That saved their skins. But no, seriously, they when I think like a day or two or whatever after the circumcision of everyone in the town, both Levi and Shemaun, they went into the town and they slaughtered them all because they were in a lot of pain. That was painful, and it was easy. It was an easy slaughter. So they took over the town. And yep, that's pretty much that. And then her name is Dinah, and she, the daughter, the 13th one, her name is Dinah. Now, there's an interesting dynamics to the children of Israel. And you will see it when God sets up the centuries later, after the descendants of the children of Israel go down into Egypt, and then they're on their way back and they're in the wilderness period, we see that there are 12 tribes around the one that is joined to God. Okay, now. And that is that same idea of 12 with a feminine nature, one who is set apart. You're going to see that over and over and over. Okay? Now, so you've got these 12 energies that are the same. Then you've got the female energy that is different. She represents the Holy Spirit. Holy means to be set apart. She was different. Okay? Levi was different. Even though the tribe of Levi was, it was different. It was set apart. Okay? So we're looking at positive and negative, good and bad, boy and girl, up and down, left and right. There's really no right or wrong, and yet, there is a right and wrong. Okay? Anyway. So we do have to, when we look at the things in the Bible, you got to expand your consciousness beyond just the basics. And when you do that, you can start seeing that things are really fascinating. God has a lot of hidden things in there. All right. Well, that's it for this show, and the end of my third show of the day on Friday the 13th. I hope you enjoyed it. My name is Wendy, and we're all living in the winds of change.